Hey, so today I want to talk about Netflix's second installment of Fear Street 1978. This is the second part of the film, and it's also directed by the director of the first film, Janik. And along with that, some of the cast members actually do return, and I don't know if you can count it as a spoiler, but I guess as this is in the cast list, I kind of think that it's not a spoiler. First of all, since when Netflix announced that this film is going to come, I was kind of thinking three films being set in three different timelines and kind of far apart from it. I kind of didn't know how are they going to connect it, because in my mind I was feeling like one film was set in 1994, another one 78, and then 66. So it's like, how do you resolve that film? That's what I've been thinking, and now I have the answer. And even though I don't like the execution of it, this completely works as this film because it doesn't trample the potential of the camp slasher horror film that is going on. So that's why I think I'm gonna give it a pass. They do it through flashbacks. So basically, they're going to resolve the story by learning to more about it, because the character from the first film actually return in the second one, and I think they're also going to return in the third one. So in that way, okay, now I think it's a much more traditional trilogy of a film rather than an untraditional one where I thought everything was going to come backwards, but it's not like that. But that's like a lot of technical things. But now if we're going to talk about the movie, I have not seen Friday the 13th, and I feel like this camp trope is kind of worn out. I have never liked this trope. That's why I have actively avoided any kind of horror films that are set in the camp scene where just killer gets on the loose and kills a bunch of kids. That genre never really appealed to me. But now when this film came along, I was kind of intrigued because I like the first one. So when I saw the second one, they have kind of done it again. This is still fun. This kind of embodies all the tropes of the 90s era horror, but I think that was also kind of a 80s mixed up, because that's the kind of Netflix's jam. They kind of made a film in the 90s and made a film in the 70s, but both of them kind of feels like split down in the 80s, because 80s was like the big moneymaker, like Stranger Things and stuff like that. So of course Netflix is going to cash on that and kind of feel like it. Now, one thing I didn't like that much about this film is that overbearing kind of 80s 90s songs. It's like at some point it was like kind of too much. It was kind of overbearing on your senses, and it kind of feel a little gimmicky. Yeah, I know it's set in the 90s, but it doesn't have to like play every single 90s song or famous 90s song that can kind of have a nostalgic feeling to it. So that kind of feel a little cheap. But other than that, I would say that the kills are fun, not great, because the Fear Street 1, their kills were also solid, but 1 and 2 killing scene in particular was particularly impressive. Not in here. All of the kills are like at a level, because at this point I think the director is kind of trying to strike a balance as the middle one. For the middle film, you always have to kind of go steady and just not lose the balance. So in that way, I think it kind of played safe on the tropes, and in a lot of ways I think this is equally as fun as the first one. So I'm officially intrigued for the third one, which should come out next week. And after that, I would think that this film would be one of the, I guess, better trilogies that we have seen in a while. And that's because this is actually done in 3 weeks. And one thing I also want to say, there's a previously on scene and there's the like after what's going to happen in the next film. So in that sense, it seems a lot like a film. This doesn't really feel like a film. This feels a lot like a TV show. So which is kind of interesting, and there's nothing wrong with it. That definitely goes with their brand, and that's why I guess a lot of people are liking it, because at a certain degree the lines of film starts to kind of get blurred, and it kind of feels like a TV show. And Netflix's marketing has always been strong there, and their fan base is also very strong in that department. So yeah, I think it's a good thing. The horror was what you expect, nothing too overbearing, fun. There were some jokes here and there that were kind of funny, and things never actually kind of subsided in the realm of like too much horror, tense or gore. There was minimal of that, so kind of I guess a lot of people can enjoy, and in that way I think this is kind of a very deserving sequel, if you will. So that's why I give this film also 3.5 out of 5. And if you like the first one, you should definitely watch watches and continue on to the third one, which I am hoping that I will also review too.